want to talk about some things that mean something. We're on a journey in this life, and a lot of times we are going to go through challenges, and we're going to have things that are going to work for us and going to work against us. However, they're all experiences. One example is how failure and success are one and the same. When you're succeeding, you could be also failing at the same time. And observing that place inside where we are succeeding even through our failures, this is true growth. It's true understanding that the challenges that we face off against on a day are there for us, and they're there to teach us. When we are not working on our own energy and our own purpose and utilizing all the challenges and the abilities that we have inside of ourselves, we are holding ourselves back from what is meant to happen, what is meant to become, and what is meant to manifest. And the biggest part of that is finding yourself. It's finding a part that you can express, that you can understand. And inside of our own self-expression, there's a lot of times when we find ourselves lost. And we forget that learning and the path of growth comes from within. It comes from the lessons that we have and the ability inside of ourselves to have more than what we are. And it's not just going to be there for you. It's going to ask you what your purpose is. What is it that you wish to achieve? What is it that you wish to become? And if you're truly seeking out after internal growth and internal learning, then you're going to find the lessons behind the challenges. And it doesn't just wake you up. It doesn't just have a part to play. It has a part to play with your own being, with your own journey. And there's much greater purpose on this path than letting our own opinions get letting our own doubts and the things that would hold us back on a daily. I think that we're sometimes not realizing how blessed we truly are, how blessed the situations that we are in are. Because when we're going through it, when we're facing off against it, we sometimes have to learn, we have to grow, we have to find the way through the challenges to find the positivity within the universe, within our own path and our own purpose. And inside of doing your own thing, inside of becoming your own person, you find the most. You find the greater part of oneself. And there's a lot of people out there that aren't willing to seek to that level. They're not willing to go to the point of finding themselves. They're not willing to take the time and to turn the negatives into positives and to utilize the universe. So how do we start to utilize this great universe that we live in a way to utilize positive and negative forces? Is to understand the energy that flows and how the origin of light exists. And so are we utilizing that flow, that light, to the point of purpose, to the point of massive growth? Because inside of it, we're alone, and inside of it there's light. And so inside of that light, you're going to find all of your doubts, you're going to find all of your challenges and all of your ability, and your mentality will find a place for you if you seek out after positive thinking. And so the difference between the person that succeeds and the person that fails is in the thought process. It's in the process of utilizing that part. It's in the process of utilizing that growth. And it's inside of the process of utilizing that ability. And so are we utilizing it in such a way that what we're doing today is becoming a positive force in this universe? See, the opening of the light within oneself, or one's ability, or even one's mentality, comes when you start to understand, when you start to find that you have that knowledge, you've absorbed that place, you've gone through those challenges, that what you're looking after is already exists inside of you. And so it's not just today that you're going to have those kind of challenges, and it's not just tomorrow either. You know, it goes through all of us, and it's inside of this great construct that we're sometimes in a way programmed to not allow the energy inside to flow to that point. It's inside of that program that we find to become much more and to be much more. And so it's not just on the external that a lot of people have these kinds of challenges. It's on the inside and understanding the greater purpose in their path and inside of their journey. And so one of those ways that you can open up your journey and open up your path is by liberating the mind from the victim mentality, which is held by emotion, held by the fear of utilizing math and numbers in the great equations that we have to turn things towards positivity and turn things towards something to where you're able to become what you wish to become, what you wish to achieve. And it's inside of those mental blocks and those mental abilities that you will start to understand what your purpose is. And there's a lot of people that live an entire life and they don't find it until their later years, when they're sitting back and understanding how everything that happened so that they could be right where they are. And the question is, do you want to sit back sorry, or do you want to sit back in a way in which this life was a blessing, and every single lesson that I learned in this life, every single challenge gave me a place of growth, it gave me a place of purpose, it gave me a place of being. And so I think that kind of path is amazing. That kind of path that gives that kind of understanding is what a lot of us seek out after. And a lot of times we are seeking out after it in a place where other people don't even know how to get that kind of help themselves. You know, there have been a lot of people that have made it through this life with the biblicals of multiple difference, that was the way in which they took to get to the golden light energy through white light energy. However, inside of my own path, there's much more. Inside of my own path, there is consciousness and awareness of the multiple energy fields that flow throughout the human being, that flow out from within, that our conscious and our subconscious become in one when we're aware, and that we're communicating with ourselves in such a way in which we become the place of manifestation. And I think that the growth inside that one has from understanding their own liberation, understanding their own part in their journey, and that they are where they are, the challenges that they've been through is a part of what we are seeking out after, is great. And there's a lot of greatness in this world, and it comes from within. It comes from beyond what we would seek out after. And so we're borrowing this light, we're borrowing this energy and these connections within ourselves and within the experiences that we feel on the outside. And we have to recognize that existence. We have to recognize that purpose. We have to recognize this part of our journey and this part of our light that flows from within and outwards. And so how do we utilize it beyond? How do we utilize it to go within and to ask the questions that we should be asking, which is, how is my journey? Where is my journey? What part of my purpose am I on? Am I gaining access to the knowledge inside, that the lessons and the experiences that brought me right where I am today are there for my greater purpose? And this journey is a blessing. You hearing what I'm saying? And so we're sometimes stubborn. We're sometimes not just going to admit it. However, every lesson we've learned, everything we've been through is a blessing in this life, and this breath is a blessing. But we don't see that because sometimes we don't understand it to this journey. And so I just hope that you all have a blessed day. I hope this opens the mind a little. That what they're seeking out after starts to also seek out after you. You know, and I just hope those blessings come from within. And I do hope that you all have a blessed day. As always, namaste.